Hi, good day. I'm Marinel Liwanag, and today I'll talk about how can we talk about creativity, written by Sumner 2021. My article review is titled This is How We Talk About Creativity, an answer to Sumner. Let me start. The article How Can We Talk About Creativity, written by Sumner 2021, determines the criteria and consequences of a creative act's occurrence and importance, citing Skinner, Epstein, and Wittgenstein. At the end of the article, she concludes that this specialness of creativity is conceivably found in its effect to the audience. On my end, I argue that creativity does not ripple visible effects but echoes underlying implicit nature of being one. Quote unquote by Sumner 2021. Instead of assuming there is a thing or process or quality that creativity describes, perhaps a better approach to understanding creativity may be not to define and argue about what the word creativity means or names, but instead investigate the effect on a verbal community of using the word creativity. Thus, according to Sumner 2021, to analyze the properties that explain something as beautiful or creative, one must look to the activities in which they engage when using the term creative. For instance, I can call myself creative in terms of creating good PowerPoint presentations because I use different animations, effects, styles, graphs, images, and put them together to create a very interesting PowerPoint and amicable PowerPoint. I can say it is not the usual PowerPoint I do, for I put my time and effort in crafting one with a goal in mind to capture audience attention through it. Meanwhile, for behaviorists, the word creativity is best understood within a given speaker-listener relation and in different uses of that behavior. For Skinner, the creative act is an outcome of a selective process that leads an artist to the final composition. This leads to his assertion that neither phylogenetically or ontogenically has verbal behavior evolved to the point at which a complex combination of a personal history and a current situation will give rise to a passage having an appropriate effect upon the reader. That's according to Skinner, 1981, page 7. Skinner wrote in 1972, page 378, quote unquote, "A poem seldom makes its appearance in a completed form. Bits and pieces accord to the poet who rejects or allows them to stand and who puts them together to compose a poem. But they come from his history, verbal and otherwise, and he had the chance to learn how to put them together." In the paradigm used by Skinner, the poet was able to ponder, imagine, sense, decide, and resolve internal conflicts, mastering techniques and arriving to a conclusion to complete and create a masterpiece. Hence, Skinner is trying to tell that creativity is biologically, environmentally, and linguistically acquired. On the one hand, Epstein et al. 2008 established four competencies that allow for creative expression. He termed generativity theory, where creative behavior is defined as a function of the combination or reordering of previously established behavior that occur under specifiable conditions. The four competencies are capturing, challenging, broadening, and surrounding. Epstein defined capturing as preserving new ideas as they occur or find a place and time where new ideas can be observed easily. In terms of creative writing, capturing is the behavior of writing. Sumner 2021 described it as having a pen and a paper on hand to write down ideas as they occur. The second competency is challenging, defined to take on difficult tasks, to set open-ended goals, and to manage fear and stress associated with failure. Sumner 2021 pictured it as someone who faces a situation where the usual outcomes of his or her actions do not follow, then he or she keeps behaving without giving up, like pushing through the writer's block. The third competency is broadening, defined to seek training, experience, and knowledge outside of current areas of expertise and beyond the current repertoire. For instance, elevating skills outside of the typical writing scope, like learning calligraphy. The fourth competency is surrounding, defined as challenging the physical and social regularly and social environments regularly and seeking out unusual stimuli or combinations of stimuli to evoke a creative act. Sumner 2021 explicated it as ensuring that stimulus control is changed so that new behaviors are evoked, like writing at a new coffee shop. Epstein tries to give a scenario of an individual who is creative, bounce back when faced with failures, hold back when overwhelmed with catastrophes, move forward when there are chances, and keep his or her feet on the ladder of success. Further, Sumner 2021 painted creativity this way, quote unquote, a person A describes a piece of art as creative, and person B also describes the same piece of art as creative. Relating this to Wittgenstein's perspective, one might conclude that person A and B have the same thing in mind. Probably, A and B have the same preference or standards. Thus, they are both playing the same language game to describe one piece of art. Sumner 2021 argued that the word creative does not represent the item or piece of art itself, but the effects the word creative is having on others in the discussion. Hence, Sumner 2021 alleviates the meaning of creativity away from a person's behavior or characteristics, but the impact of the word creativity brought to its surroundings. Wittgenstein's language games described how words' meaning is influenced by verbal community, where functions, definitions of words are derived, according to Grimmel 2015 and Sumner 2021. Hence, seeing a creative work and branding it as creative is spoken by people who know the meaning of the word, how it's used, its functions, and relevance to a certain context. Family resemblances, coined by Wittgenstein, relate to this matter where words that share the same name but have different functions or outcome. Thus, Sumner 2021 further argued that the word creative can have different meanings across a range of representational systems and each have different effects on a verbal community. It is expected that various communities and representational systems may employ different language games with varied effects to the audience. Therefore, the word creative is not found in the subject matter being studied, but on how the verbal community uses this term. In totality, the article explicated how Epstein 1996 discussed creativity in terms of individual explicit action, while Skinner 1970 discussed the general process and outcome where creativity is transpired. Hence, Sumner 2021 argued that using a language or an art form requires to possess a network of possible tools, contingencies, a language game, or possible tools within an artistic style. She further argued that the creative behavior itself may be nothing special. This specialness may found in its effect on the audience. Second, she concluded that instead of defining creativity, behavior analysts should define effects when creativity is used. Hence, I argue that outward effects of creativity explained by Epstein and Skinner was overlooked by Sumner 2021. The rippled effect of creativity was discussed by Epstein and his four competencies. Is prevalent in capturing, challenging, broadening, and surrounding in such a way that a person is driven of these competencies for one probable reason, to go beyond creativity and to redefine creativity. It is not being captured, challenged, broadened, and surrounded by possibilities and an explicit and visible effects of how creativity impacts the person who holds it, and further accelerate effects towards other people. Likewise, Skinner's use of poet as a locus, where a creative act is defined as outcome of a selective process that leads an artist to the final composition, an answer already on how creativity to be talked about. Put simply, it takes process to be creative, and the process itself speaks volume of how an individual is affected and ruled by the word itself. Arguably, the specialness of creativity may be conceivably found in its effect to the audience. To be creative, it takes effort, dedication, and spirit, an implicit effect to an individual who possesses the term. For the audience, it is satisfaction, gratitude, and high level of regard to the term. Thus, in my end, creativity does not only ripple visible effects, but echoes underlying implicit nature of being one. Creativity is imprinted and runs in the blood of a living soul who understands. So that's my article review entitled This is How We Talk About Creativity, an answer to Sumner. And I hope you enjoyed my listening to my video. See you in my next vid. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!